and segmentation in lecture recordings to enhance e-learning effectiveness. As the pandemic started last year, and we were in the spring break at that time when the lockdown occurred in the United States. And we immediately scratched our head to see what would be our mode of teaching, because it's now lockdown. Students were asked to leave the campus. And so like everybody else, we resorted to video conferencing softwares, and we used Microsoft Teams at the time. So started using that, and that brought a lot of challenge. We were not trained to that software. Students were also not very used to with that. A lot of students do not like online teaching, and they don't. It requires a lot of discipline, and one has to be very organized. So we faced a lot of challenges. What we did, we tried to make sure that we record our lectures. So when we started online teaching, at the beginning, some of the classes were synchronous, some were asynchronous. So it brought a lot of challenges. Now, again, recording was very important part of this course delivery. As we know that human processes images more effectively than texts. So it's like a 60,000 times faster than processing text. So, and it says that, there is a saying that a picture worth 1,000 words. So we felt that, yes, we need to provide the video recording. And so we started to record, but there are a lot of issues. Most students watch recorded video lectures maybe only once, where when the video lecture or the video file is too large, a student would not be motivated to watch that. Our classes are usually like hour and 15 minutes long, and going back and watching that for hour and 15 minutes long for a specific segment of the thing that they want to watch, it's kind of difficult. There was a study that says that a student of 157 randomly chosen students for credit online course at a four-year university found that only 9% of the students skipped watching recorded video lectures. Only 2% of students, they recorded videos after the assigned deadline. So even if they were assigned a video to be watched, they only 2% went back and watched that after the deadline. Recorded video lectures are better to be used as a supplement. And segmenting the videos of 6 minutes or less in length is more effective for learning. So this was a very interesting study that was done, and this is my in the reference. Its citation is there. Students engage more with small pieces of new information, but our classes are like, some classes meet only once a week, which is 3 hours long. So then it's a lecture video of 3 hours long, or if the lecture is only for hour and 15 minutes, 2 times a week, then it's like an hour and 15 minutes of video. However, if the video is short, then the students engage more with the small pieces of new information. The student need control over the flow of the information. And shorter videos help encode the information into long-term memory. So these are some interesting findings. Long videos are ineffective as they overload the intrinsic cognitive capability of learning working memory. So that was an interesting finding, and we felt that video need to be segmented, or small videos need to be made. Now let's take a look at these the different modalities of online teaching. Um, since we switched from face-to-face mode to synchronous online video conference, uh, and that was the closest transition we went to. Synchronous, as you know, that synchronous versus asynchronous is in a synchronous uh, teaching, maybe the professor will or the instructor will record the video or pre-record the video and post it on the website, course website. In a synchronous mode, there will be interactive lecture. A student will be connecting to the software like the way we are conducting this conference. So that's the synchronous modality. Uh, most of our classes were synchronous, and that's what we're talking about, that synchronous video that are like of long duration. Lecture material and assignments often delivered via learning management system. For example, we have Desire to Learn system, D2L, or the likes. Tools that we use primarily Microsoft Teams, but other places use Zoom or WebEx or Google Meets, etc. There are different software, different people, different institutions used. Here what we did is we looked at the feature of most of the popular tools. Microsoft Teams is the one that we use. However, there are Zoom, Google Meet, and here we actually looked at all of these different software and we checked to see if there is a recording feature in them or not. Some do not yet have recording features, but a majority of them do. Now we looked at to see if there is a pause or resume feature. Why is that pause or resume important? For example, if you are giving a lecture and then after you explain things and then you wanted a student to do an activity. Now, during this activity, students are just working silently on the problem that you assigned. And so there will be a long period of time when there is nothing in the video, basically. And in a synchronous session, we just can't see everybody to see what they're doing. And a lot of time we have to turn the video feed in order to save the bandwidth. So it is important to look at that. If we could pause while we give that activity and the student are working on that, and then we get back, then maybe we want to resume the video recording. We also want check to see if annotation features are there or not. As you see that none of the softwares except YouTube Live has some annotation features. Video segmentation, none of the softwares have video, none of these softwares have any video segmentation feature. And that's what we wanted to take a look at. Transcription features, many of the softwares do allow transcription, chat, almost all of them, and most of them are multi-user platform. So things that we are interested in: pause resume features, annotation feature, and video segmentation feature. So features to include with video conferencing software. So what we wanted to do is tagging during the meeting. As the professor is giving the lecture, professor wants to tag an important portion where the student may find that particular section need to be rewatched by them. So so the tagging is an important feature that we also thought of. Adding annotation during or after the meeting via the tagging marks, and then auto video segmentation extraction. So the video, if it is segmented, the instructor, while giving the lecture, can mark it or should be able to mark it, and then those to create segments, and those segments will be automatically created instead of a whole hour and 15 minutes lecture. Maybe it will be segmented on multiple segments. So so these are the features that we're looking at, and here is the annotation and segmentation design that we proposed. So here is the start and then recording. Here's the stop. The video output will be segment, and the segment will be extracted into multiple segments. Here is the pause feature. We can pause operational annotation, and then here is that we can do resume, and then recording starts again. Then here is our new system design. An auxiliary file is used. We could use an auxiliary file. So no change to the original recording. The original recording stays the same, but an auxiliary file is used, and then there will be multiple segments created. And the tagging is marked by the recording time in time progression. Annotation embedded in each interval. So each interval we should be able to annotate. Tagging and annotation would allow us to browse and search for a specific content that we are looking for, because the video is annotated. So based on those annotations, a student can then go and search for the specific segment. And then video segments generated by the intervals with the annotation and title I just talked about. And here is the design of that we are proposing. Here you can see that recording stop, and then video output is video segment automatically extracted, multiple segments, and recording can be marked or unmarked. And we'll show you a design that we have of the user interface. And then here's the operational annotation, so that fits back. So here's the prototype marking annotation. So here we are proposing that there would be a marking icon as the recording progresses. The professor could maybe explaining an important concept, could mark that icon, and as soon as it marked, it would be activated, which would be noted by a color change into red. And then there will also be a floated movable annotation box where at the same time as the professor is speaking, if needs to put some annotation, maybe could also put it here. So that's the marking and annotation. And here is the prototype recording segmentation. So segmentation, marking, and annotation, it shows the active marker. And so that would be on the, as you can see the timeline here, that will show the timeline. So that's what we are proposing. And here are our references. Our research is primarily on designing the user interface for this. So that's all about our presentation. I think.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much for the presentation.